senior backend engineer working for Strikingly. I started using Ruby on Rails in 2007, so hello. And today I'm going to talk about Rails of asset pipeline. So let's start with a quick poll. So, okay, I didn't see everybody. Who in the room is using Rails? Who's using asset pipeline? Almost everybody. And who's not satisfied by asset pipeline? Very few people. Okay. So if you're not satisfied, I'm going to tell you how to get rid of it. And if you're satisfied, I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't. So first, let's go back in time a bit to understand the recent evolution of web development. So from 2000 to 2010, the main trend for website was server-side rendering, and application servers were serving HTML documents and CSS and JavaScript files to enrich them. Rails Asset Pipeline was added to Rails 3.1 in 2011 to help developers to organize their assets. And it's based on Sprockets. Sprockets is an asset joiner for RAG servers, written in Ruby, of course. So the benefits of Rails Asset Pipeline, it introduced some good practice to Rails developers. Rails developers are mostly backend and full stack developer. But full stack developer means backend developer that's trying to do some content. So the most important benefits are one, delivering single JavaScript and CSS file per page, while keeping the structured sources. It reduces the number of server connections, which is really important. The second improvement is minifying and gzipping assets and creating image sprites, so save language. It also promotes compiler to help you keep your code even cleaner. And all of this in a very simple way, because you have pretty much nothing to do to make it work. To be honest, so when Asset Pipeline was out, I discovered this tool, and I knew nothing about front-end development, about good practices, so it was a great help for me to discover all those things. Now, what's today's trend? Today's trend is client-side rendering plus data API. The user needs evolved pretty quickly those past years, and mobile brought new kind of users, new way to see the web, and new problematics. The server-side rendering is pretty limiting you in terms of potential. And to get rid of those limitations, we started to move rendering logic from server-side to client-side. And we focused the backend on data only. We used API to communicate through, from client to server. Until we end in today's widespread paradigm. We have a single API and multiple clients, web, mobile apps, other backend applications. Today, web is just one client. It's no more a rich document. It's a complex software with specific needs. So the question is, does Asset Pipeline meet the modern web client engineering requirements? So first, let's see a list of problems and see how it's solved by Asset Pipeline and maybe other technologies. So the first problem is humans. The technology is here to solve human problems. Asset Pipeline is strongly connected to Rails. It means that your front-end developers will have to navigate through, understand, and edit Rails code base to solve their problems. It forces the team, backend teams and front-end teams to communicate about those problems. Do you need to notify iOS team or Android team when you change Rails configuration? Do those teams need to notify the backend team that they changed something in their building process. So our own experience is when a front-end guy comes to me and say, oh, dude, I changed some couple of lines in application.rb, I'm fearing a lot. And I'm double-checking the code. And when I tell the front-end team, hey guys, sorry, we are not using Node anymore in our Rails stack, we are using Ruby Racer because we added one gem and this gem needs Ruby Racer. They are not very happy. Actually, the communication between front-end team and back-end team should be restricted to the API. The API is here to communicate, so we should focus only on that and talk about API only. Second problem is dependencies. How do you manage your JavaScript and CSS dependencies with asset pipeline? You have two solutions. The first one is to use gems. Okay, so on this example, can you tell me what version of jQuery we are using here? The highest version of jQuery is 2.1, something like that. So it's certainly not free. It's the gem version. I have no idea what version of jQuery I'm using. Can we see again? The other solution is to then put your asset files in vendor directory. But same thing, I have no idea what version I'm using of each asset. I can add the version in the file name, that's one solution. But still, if I take one random jQuery stuff in that list, let's say validate, which jQuery version it's expecting? 1 something, 2 something, I have no idea. If I update my jQuery version, which of those assets will keep working, which one will be broken? I have no idea. JavaScript community actually has a package manager called NPM. They even have many package managers. They are all based on NPM. NPM is basically Ruby gems and bundler for JavaScript. Now, the bundles means what's sent to your browser. Let's say I have those 3 files. So 2 very dumb functions, and the third file is my Sprocket manifest. So what we can see is the required tree is the problem with Sprockets. It's what Sprocket is. It doesn't encourage you to do modular development. It's just, okay, I need all those things in one file. Deal with it. And everything is in the global namespace. If you look at the code, I'm only using say A, but say B is here. Why? It means if I don't remove my files in my sources, everything is always included. And we always forget to remove files. Now, CommonJS, one of many libraries to solve this problem, is helping you to organize your code in modules. You can require modules in variables, so you keep the namespace, the global namespace under control. In this example, each box is a file. Variables don't live outside the file scope, so they never end in the global namespace, unless you really force it. Plus, if a file is never required, it never appears in the bundle. This way, even if your sources are messy, your bundle remains clean, and that's the most important thing. I guess anyone who was doing development in 2008, around that time, was dreaming to have something like this, night and days. So another problem, the cross-pipeline references. On this example, we have Ruby inside JavaScript code. Poor front-end team. It means they need to know about Rails internals. They need to know about asset path. They need to know how it works. They need to know how to write Ruby, even if it's not super complicated, but still. And the real problem here is every type of asset has its own pipeline, and they cannot communicate together. If you don't see that as a problem, say, yeah, okay. I hope you see this one as a problem. And if you don't see that as a problem, I hope you don't have 50 themes in your application. So why it doesn't work? Because the Ruby part is actually evaluated during the compilation time. And theme is a JavaScript variable. It's evaluated at runtime. So they are not living in the same world. Everybody makes that mistake. So what about actually, if we could just require images or CSS files or whatever file, like we can require other JavaScript module with the CommonJS syntax. It would be like give a sensation of unification and gives everything to JavaScript. Let's talk about that. So it turns out that all the problems I talked about, they've been answered in many, many ways by the front-end world. That's a list of module bundlers. So there's at least 10 popular ones. I put just the 4 most popular ones. Broccoli, that comes with, as default with under CLI, Grant, and webpack. We're going to talk about webpack today. So that's the solution we use in Tracking. It's web development oriented, and it provides a lot of fancy tools. So what webpack can do, everything that Asset Pipeline does, in a better way. It supports modular JavaScript. It's fully integrated with NPM, and even more. So I'm gonna present some common cases that you need to you necessarily meet when you migrate from Asset Pipeline to Webpack. So I wrote a small recipe, very simple one, how to basically migrate. So let's start by the first step. We need to set up npm plus webpack. So we're gonna create a package.json file and a webpack config.js file in our root directory, and we will add a fe directory frontend that will contain all the sources we need. All the new files will integrate in webpack. So the webpack config. So let's comment that quickly. Entry is our entry point. It tells webpack which file is the starting point in our bunch of JavaScript files. You can have many entry points if you need. Output is where we're going to put the result. So here we're going to output our files in asset directory because we are migrating slowly. So we're going to have files in assets pipeline and files in webpack, and they need to work together. And we're going to use the library mode to make our code accessible from that outside world. Means our webpack code will be in a global variable. Package.json allows you to use npm. It looks a lot like a JSON file. You have a couple of meta infos. You have dependencies and a link to your repository. The GitHub is URL is wrong. So let's start by moving JavaScript. Let's take 1 minute to talk about CommonJS. Each file in CommonJS is considered as a module. Everything in the file is wrapped into a function by CommonJS and will never interact with the outside world unless you say so. So it needs to explicitly tell what should be accessible to other modules, and other modules can access this by using require. So one example here, the 2 first lines are requiring our own JavaScript file. The 3rd line is requiring jQuery. So in that case, it's requiring an npm package, exactly like requiring a gem in Ruby. And the last line is showing our function to the outside world. We just run webpack. It writes our package.js in the asset directory because we told him to do so. We can either add this new package directly in a JavaScript tag, or we can use it in asset pipeline with a require comment. Now let's talk about external dependency. Because we are partially using webpack and partially using asset pipeline, we still have a lot of scripts that are expecting jQuery to be in the global scope. It would be very nice to tell to webpack, hey, this guy is not in NPM. This guy is somewhere else. You don't need to care about it. There's actually a way to do that. Just tell him. So every time webpack will see jQuery, it will just do nothing. It's not his business. How to move images. So let's talk about a flow in asset pipeline. If you put JavaScript files into your style sheet directory or your image directory, you will have some troubles. But if you put images or style sheets into your JavaScript directory, it works. So that's perfect because we are outputting in JavaScript directory. So let's move our image to our front-end sources directory. We require it, like any other file, but hey, does webpack knows how to handle images? No, it doesn't. But we can tell him how to do that. So we're gonna add a new dev dependency called file loader. What file loader is doing is basically you tell him where to find the file. It will output this file in your output directory and give you the name of the file, the URL of the file. So then you just need to tell webpack how to connect the file loader and the PNG file with the loader section. And because webpack file loader doesn't respect the file structure on your disk, you need to give a public path telling him what should you add in the URL to make it working with your browser. So here we are using assets bundles because it's what our what asset pipelines want as a path to find the image. But it could be a CDN URL actually. How to move the CSS files? So I'm going to move only logo because application is useless. I just add it in my front-end directory as well. I require it, I'm not catching it into a variable. It's, in our example, it's pretty useless, and I'm going to explain that. So I need two new loaders, because we have SCSS file. So I need SCSS loader that will transform SASS string into a CSS string, and then style loader that will append the style into the page in the head of the document. So here we are telling webpack how to deal with that. So you need to read from right to left to understand what it does. So first it compiles the SAS into CSS. Then it writes the contents to the disk, and then append the URL of this file into the head of the document. And public path also apply here. Okay. Now we finally move all the JavaScript files that are under asset pipeline into our webpack directory. So we don't need jQuery in the global namespace anymore, or any other library. So that's what I want. I'm going to start by removing my script tag of jQuery from the head of the document. I'm going to add it into the dependencies of my webpack application. So this time it's not in dev dependencies, it's in dependencies because we want that to be included in the bundle. I'm going to remove this external part. It's not needed anymore. And because I was requiring jQuery in every of my files that needed it, I don't have anything else to do. Now, there's one thing you can do once you've done that, and that's my favorite activity, is to shrink your gem file. I'm not kidding, it's really my favorite activity. So now we don't need asset pipeline for anything, we should get rid of it. Because, so actually what do we need to be completely independent from it? We just need a very small HTML file that includes our JavaScript bundle for our browser to access it. There's a plugin for that, of course. So just add it as dev dependency, add a line to tell npm how to run the server, because there's a server in webpack. Just a couple of lines of configuration to make it work in webpack. Run webpack, so there's the index.html file that appears, and then you can run your server. So let's make a demo. How am I going to do that? I don't see what I'm doing. Okay, just excuse me 1 second. We're gonna switch to new mode. So that's the example I used to build the slides. So it's pretty simple, actually. And first thing is, there's a bug in this application. There's a real bug. When I was preparing the demo, I discovered there was a bug. And it took me 20 minutes to find it. It's super simple to solve. And then, now we know each other a little bit more. So it's not hello words anymore, it's hello friends. Right? And even if my taste is very bad, actually I know this red border is pretty ugly. I'd like it to be purple. Okay. So if you pay attention to the left side of the screen, I actually never refresh my page. I can show you again if you didn't see. I just change my code and it appears immediately on the left side of the screen. Because Webpack supports one very fancy feature which is called hot reload. You just save your files and Webpack updates your browser without reloading the page. It's pretty fancy to, especially for CSS. CSS is pretty annoying to update. Let's go back to the slides. Okay. So what else? Of course, Webpack is allowing you to minify your assets with easy control. And usually all the time your bundles grow super big, whatever solution you use. So bundles is providing a couple of tools to analyze and do introspection on your bundles and understand what is the bottleneck in the size of your bundle. It also provides tools to split your code manually, easily, and suites of tools to semi-automatically optimize your code by chunking the code. It also provides a bunch of loaders for almost any type of file. So let's make a recap. Rails is good for prototyping. That's the problem of Rails. With asset pipeline, it's good to discover front-end good practice. In general, Rails helps you to discover good practices. It doesn't fit for large application in JavaScript. And if you look to production ready in 2011, because the server-side rendering technology is very limited, the front-end world solved its own problem, so let the front-end world deal with those problems. Finally, I didn't talk about Bower, because we didn't have time to cover everything and it's maybe too much. So I'm just mentioning it. If you want to move to Webpack, you should maybe have a look up about those technologies. So Bower is enhanced dependency management on top of NPM, bringing nice solutions for CSS files and other stuff. React is the last front-end revolution by Facebook. It's kicking the front-end development. Everybody is rewriting. It's like Google, Ender, they are all rewriting their framework to copy React. ES 2015, which is a replacement for CoffeeScript, pretty interesting. And Babel, which is bringing ES 2015 on the scene, and also it's a GSX compiler.